Okay, section 1 was keeping the distance. We knew that we found our range and we matched the step, right? 1, and then 2, and then 3. We checked the range again, pretty good, right? Then he would go back and 1, 2, 3, and we check the range again, so we're good. Now, all we're doing right now is maintaining the distance, right? I'm staying out of range. Every time he aggresses against me, I step back, and this way he can't punch me. What if something happens, though, where when he steps in, I also step in? This is how we're going to move from far to near. From far to near. Why? Because far is the safest distance, but we can't stay there forever. We may run out of space. Maybe I run into a wall, right? 1, 2, uh-oh. Now what happens if he takes another step? Maybe I can do, something to do in boxing, like I can cut the corner and create an angle. But then don't I set myself up for this? See, a lot of danger if we don't know the stand-up. Let's not get involved in the punching at all. Most people get knocked out when they're trying to knock someone out. Okay? Most people get knocked out because they take the time to engage in the striking. And anything can happen. If you're a skilled striker, that's great. And you guys can take what you know and combine it with the jiu-jitsu to help keep yourself safe. And you can choose the fight that you want because you have both options available to you. But when we're teaching Gracie Jiu-Jitsu here, we're not thinking about that because we don't strike like that. We stay out of punching range and out of kicking range. Our fight is grappling, so we're closing the distance. And how do we do that? 1, 2, 3. When he steps in, I do too. We go from near to far. It's the same step as when I'm the aggressor for him. It's leading with the front foot and following with the back. Leading with the front and sliding the back. Feet are equidistant, and my stance is comfortable. But I'm going to cover my face by putting my hands on my head and bringing my arms together. I'm not going to do this. I hope we know why. I'm not going to bend over, where maybe he can shoot something underneath, like a knee or an uppercut, and I can't really see what I'm doing because I'm looking at the ground. I'm just going to switch my direction, right? Maybe the way we learn this that's best is 2 defensive steps and then 1 forward step. 2 back, 1 forward. But because he's going forward, 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 when he steps forward and I step forward at the same time, connection. Connection. And the connection that I want is a connection that keeps me safe. That means that I have to cover the areas that he's most likely trying to strike. Probably my face first. Everybody wants that knockout punch. Let me protect my face. Here. Some people make fists. I prefer this because it's just more coverage, right? And not as much tension. The more relaxed you can be in a fight because of the confidence you have from your training, the better off you'll be. So let's look at this now. We started our normal range finding scenario. There we go, 2 arm lengths. But he's the aggressor, so he goes to his fighting stance. And I stay here as a measuring stick. And we go 1, 2, 3. Right? Cover the face, cover the head, and make contact. Boom. Once we make contact, I establish the clinch. That's how we get to the clinch. Lesson 6, clinch. Around the back. Back foot close, front foot triangulated. Head and shoulder on his chest. Front hand holds. Relax knees. Hang the weight and follow him wherever he goes. Right? Not letting him disturb my base. But how do we get there? Like this. 2 back and then 1 forward. Contact. Here we go. My rangefinder's out. And he starts to move. 1, 2, 3. Clinch. Look, swim under the arm. Put the head here. Back foot close. Walk the front foot around so it's triangulated. Hold the wrist. Clinch. That's it. Here we are. Here we are. The distance being managed is the secret to success in a fight. What is success in a fight? Is it winning the fight? It's kind of like a trick question. Success is not losing, or And what we're training for, success, is surviving the fight. Surviving doesn't necessarily always mean that we're killed. It just means maybe we avoid grievous harm, or we avoid the scenario altogether. Right? If we can not fight, that's great. But if we have to fight, this is how we're going to manage the distance. 2 arms apart, and then 1, and then 2. And now when he takes the 3rd step in, cover and go. And once I go and I connect, then I clinch. Most common mistake people make is getting so excited that they finally get to clinch, and they're going to bring the fight to the guy and take him to the ground with our leg hook takedown, right? And then I'm just going to sit down, right? UFC, Hoist Gracie, 93, whenever it was. That's me. No, right? This is a street fight, and you got to keep yourself safe. So when we close the distance and we establish the clinch, sometimes that's so exciting that we forget to protect ourselves. And instead we end up in a scenario like this. We go 1, 2, 3. Like we're just so eager to grab the waist. And look at the window it creates for the fist, for the elbow, for the back knee. All very damaging. So it's very important. Probably the most critical part of this movement of closing the distance is to commit to the connection first and then the clinch. How do we do that? Let's back up again. So here 1, and then 2, 3. Connect. Once I'm connected, now I can clinch. Now I can clinch. Pause when you train this. We're going to look for 2 steps back and 1 step forward. When you connect, you pause, then you can take the clinch. Once you clinch, pause, clinch. Now I have my partner test my clinch for 5 seconds. And freeze. Now it's his turn. We measure. I become the aggressor. 1, 2, and now he's forward. Connect, covers the head. Once the connection's established, he clinches. He's got the clinch. I help him check his clinch, right? Front foot is triangulated, back foot is close. Front hand grabs the back wrist, head on the chest, shoulder on the chest. And now we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as I try to get away. And we start the drill over again. Okay? So remember, connect and then clinch. Connect and then clinch. Last time, just so we remember. Here we go. 1, 2, and then 3. Now I clinch. All right? The guy who's the aggressor, to make it a little more real, let's have you stick your hand out. Maybe don't throw the punch, because even a light punch can sometimes cause a little damage. Right now we really have to practice this slow. No punches. But look what can happen. Nathan is the jiu-jitsu guy. I'm the aggressor. We measure up. And I'm going to step 1, 2, and then when I step again, he's going to step in, and I just do this and put my hand out. And you see, I check to make sure I can glance off of his protection, off of his arms. And this way he knows that he's going to keep driving and connect. Now he's connected, he clinches. Right? Maybe a person who's a striker does something fancy. They're setting up like this, and then they go, and they switch to southpaw stance, right? Does it matter if you switch? If you're a striker, yes, because you want to match his stance. My left foot is forward and his left foot is forward because both of us are prepared to strike. But if I'm like this and then suddenly he switches to another stance, I can still clinch. I can still clinch. Look, I still measure, right, hand to hand, and we go 1, 2, and then 3. And maybe now I have to clinch on the other side, but I still clinch. I close the distance, and I go around and hold. Back foot close, front foot triangulated, bent, up tall, head on the chest. There we go, I'm clinched. Don't make the mistake of stepping too far. What happens if I step too far? So let's go back so we have a little extra room here. And look, I want to stay so far out of range that now I'm like 1, 2, and then when he steps in and it's time for me to clinch, you can see it coming. And he's got plenty of time to like line up a kick or a punch or an elbow or whatever. Keep the range. Stay close, but not too close. Stay far, but not too far, so that you telegraph and now you're running in. And more important than anything, when you clinch, cover and connect before grabbing. Don't run in like this and get knocked out. Okay? You clinch, you shoot, you close the distance when your opponent aggresses. Make sense?
Sir.
Okay, let's give it a try.